thank Mayor Emmanuel for his leadership and vision on this historic event. Also have to thank Alderman Silverstein. We sat down, we got to know each other for a long time. And never complained, always returned their phone calls, and we sat down, we worked it through, and also with the commissioner. And that's what it's all about, a partnership. Urban planners and policy folks have been talking about this idea for many years. What's different in Chicago is that rather than talk about it, we're doing it. And once again, just as we saw the Whole Foods in Inglewood 2 weeks ago, and Mariano's in Bronxville last week, Chicago is once again showing what it means to be a leader in the community development arena, affirming Chicago's place as a city of neighborhoods. Now I'd like to introduce one of my colleagues of the sister agency, Brian Bain.
I want to start by welcoming again everyone to our neighborhood library and acknowledge actually the great leadership that we have in our library. So much of what we're able to do in terms of innovative and creative programming starts with the great team of Chicago Public Library. And so Catherine Wilson, the branch manager here, but all those managers and library leaders around the city that are providing this kind of quality program, this new 21st century libraries will enable us to take even further. It really starts with them. So I want to acknowledge and thank them. We are thrilled to be part of the vision of Mayor Emmanuel, aldermen, state senators, of how we can make our city stronger through our neighborhoods. And as we think about the value proposition of a neighborhood library today is that we're one of the few institutions that really bring an entire community together. Children and families, newly forming families, kids who are going to school, adults who are looking for a great book or trying to build their skills to find employment. Our neighborhood libraries have really become these centers of learning and connectivity and really innovative ways of bringing people together around learning and knowledge. And the fact that we have 80 libraries in every community in Chicago, and the fact that Chicago has some of the world's best institutions, including the Chicago Public Library, we've become and are continuing to become these great arteries that bring Chicago's great assets to where people are in our city, in their neighborhoods. And this project, this partnership, I think is a shining example of how we can do that together as a city. I just want to echo the great collaboration with Chicago Housing Authority, Jean's leadership as the head of the authority, and really vision for how housing can rise all tides in our neighborhoods and how we can leverage community assets such as libraries to help bring an entire community together, to learn, to grow, to discover, and to really contribute to our neighborhoods. It really starts with that kind of leadership and vision that allows a project like this to happen. I also really want to acknowledge and thank Alderman Silverstein and Lorino and State Senator and Arena. So many of the leaders in our city have seen the value proposition of what a neighborhood library can do and how that directly links to the success of a neighborhood. And so it's such a great project to be a part of. You've already heard a few examples of some of the things that we'll be doing in this new collaboration. Of course, we'll continue to offer and extend the kinds of programs that we do after school for kids, so whether it's homework assistance online or in person, whether it's the programs that we do for teens and connect them to digital media and learning, the programs that we do for adults around digital skills specifically, teaching them how to use computers if they don't already. We're helping them get online and look for jobs, find employment, connect with family, and be a better connected to our world. Those types of programs will continue and grow in these new buildings. We are, of course, thrilled at the opportunity to be a part of a design competition. One of the things that we've seen firsthand at the Chinatown Branch Library is that a beautiful space is an engaging space, and is as much about the programs we offer in those spaces as it is about the award-winning architecture and how beautiful it is. So we know that this new community space, the housing and the library together, will be beautiful and engaging in both its programs but also in its architecture. So finally, I just want to thank and again and acknowledge the great leadership of Mayor Emmanuel in thinking creatively about how we as a city can come together to take each of those elements that really align and leverage that alignment to make a stronger neighborhood, a stronger community, and a stronger city. So thank you, and thank you all again for coming to the library today.
Thank you again, Brian and Jean, for working together what was months of effort of thinking how to bring all this as the strengths of the city, our architecture, our neighborhood libraries, community libraries, and our housing to strengthen what the public and residents across the city want to see. And with that, I want to make sure the people from Irving, from the Independence Park, Irving Park area have a chance to say something, and that's Barge Lorino and John Arena to speak up on what they envision in their own community.
Thank you. And I'd really like to take this opportunity to commend the mayor for thinking outside the box. We had some real needs in our community. We needed an updated library. The Independence Park Library needed to be updated. There's people here that could explain what it looks like. It was not a good situation. But in addition to that, we had some real needs for senior housing. So the ability of the mayor to bring these two issues together and be able to combine them and be able to pursue them with certain finances, I think has been a stroke of brilliance. So I'm really delighted about that. But
Call my wife.
who does the checkbook? There's balance in the checkbook here. And then secondly, I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the chair of the Friends of the Independence Library. Roberta Bowles has been a fighter and somebody that really has worked and advocated for this for many years, and I know that she's delighted with this project, and we want to thank you for the work on advocating for the library all these years. So once again, I think that this is just a beautiful collaboration, and I'm delighted to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. When I came into office 5 years ago, we were looking at senior housing, and there was a demand, and this is information that came from the planning department, for 600 units of senior housing on the northwest side, not just the 45th ward, but the entire northwest side. And while we've made some inroads in that, what's amazing about this is we're able to satisfy a part of those needs with additional senior units here at Independence Park specifically. And at the same time, when we had the tragedy of the fire at the Independence Park branch, I learned a lot about just how active that branch was. And I was told by the library commissioner that it was one of, or maybe the most used libraries in the neighborhood library system. And as Alderman Lorino mentioned, it was a less than ideal space, and this library staff was doing an amazing job providing service to the community that was in such demand, considering what they had to deal with. So when we had a public meeting after that fire and explained to them what we were going to try to do to reactivate a library in that space, either from a temporary and of course a long-term solution, I remember the specific moment when we talked about the amount of money we would need to build a new library, and the silence that was in the room, that we didn't have an answer of where was that $15 million going to come from. So what's amazing in such a short period of time to not only put so many great pieces together, and you can see we have obviously the mayor's office, the commissioner of the library system, CHA, Alderman, not just me and Marge, but Deb Mell, Alderman Carlos Rosa, State Rep Jamie Andrade. There was so much advocacy towards this, and so many community members that were part of Friends of the Independence Park Library that really were advocating strongly and constantly working together and talking and looking for what stone we can overturn to find a way to do this. So I want to say thank you to Mayor Emmanuel for the leadership to bring the right parties together to look at innovative solutions for building public spaces. And I can't say how excited I am and how excited the community is. I've already gotten feedback about how excited they are for the process going forward, the architectural design of this building, and how it's going to impact in such a positive way so many communities around Independence Park. Thank you very much.
I want to thank you all for being here today, and I look forward to more meetings, more discussions, and and more community events at our new library. So thank you all very much. And have a-
Are you taking questions? You're not taking any questions?
No,
No questions.
I'm gonna say hello to people.